Hi to everyone, this is Alekia Tapasvi. In our previous video, we have seen the construction of biprism. Later, we have seen how to find out the wavelength of used monochromatic light beam. These two topics were over. Now, in our today's lecture, we will see determination of thickness of thin sheet of transparent material. How to find out the thickness of thin sheet just like mica, glass by using biprism. This is what we need to see in our today's class. Try to understand this diagram. Already this is familiar with you. This is representation of main source or slit. Next, these two are representations of two secondary sources. Actually, how we got those two secondary sources? By keeping two pinholes to a paper, we can get two secondary sources. At a certain distance from the secondary sources, we had one screen. The screen is nothing but where we are going to capture interference pattern. uh, when this slit is illuminated with monochromatic light, then it starts giving wavefronts like this. Okay, after that, when wavefronts are going to attach this S1 and S2 slits, secondary slits, then they also start giving the secondary wavefronts. Those secondary wavefronts will travel through certain distance. Finally, superposing of those two wavefronts are going to take place. Then finally we can get interference pattern on the screen like this. But here we have changed this diagram little bit. That is what here you are seeing some T representation. This is nothing but this rectangular one is one mica sheet, one thin mica sheet which is having thickness T. This is placed in the path of first wavefront which was given by S1 source. Now we will see which kind of changes are going to take place in the equation given by Young's modulus. You see here I am talking about path S1P. I am completely describing about first path S1P. Later I will discuss about S2P. After that we need to find out how much path difference is going to take place between S1P and S2P after introducing one thin sheet in the path of S1P. You see here in this point we can see how much distance travelled by light ray in S1P with respect to air. The length S1P minus T is travel distance in air with velocity c. The light ray which will travel in air which is having length from here to here and also from here to here. That means we need to deduct this t value, t distance from this complete path. Therefore, the total distance traveled by this first light ray in air is equal to this much. S1P minus T. Now, how much velocity it had this light beam is having when it is reaching from S1 to P, that too with respect to air. When it is traveling through air, the velocity of light is equal to c. Now, this much thickness, T thickness, it is traveling through mica sheet medium. The velocity when light is passing through this medium is equal to Cg. Therefore, that second point is representation of velocity with which the light beam is traveling through this much thickness consisting of mica sheet. See, the length T is travelled in mica sheet with velocity Cg. Now, I am going to find out total time taken by the first light beam when it is started at S1P and ends up with its journey with P point. What is that? You see here the time taken by the light ray to complete S1P length is, see this one. Next, addition, here one addition factor is there, that is this much. This is nothing but this is time taken by the light beam when it started its journey from here and it ends up with this P point. In between we are neglecting this T value, thickness of mica sheet, and also this C is representation of velocity of light in vacuum. Next, with mica sheet thickness T, when it is travel through mica sheet, it is having velocity, light ray is having velocity Cg. Therefore, the total time taken by light ray when it starts at one S1 position and ends up with P position is this much. Now, coming to the definition of refractive index. What is mu? Mu is nothing but refractive index of mica sheet. For refractive index, we have one definition. This is nothing but ratio of velocity of light in vacuum to the velocity of light in medium will give us refractive index of the corresponding material. Therefore, the refractive index of mica sheet will be given by C by Cg. From this, how can I write the value of Cg? Cg is equal to C by mu. Substitute this Cg value here, then our formula has been modified like this. Now this is equal to this much. You see here, this complete expression will give us total distance traveled by first light beam by this is complete velocity of first light beam. Here my intention is I want to find out the total distance traveled by the first light beam. Therefore, this upper one, this numerator one will represent the total distance traveled by ray 1, which is nothing but S1P. If T is common here, plus T into mu minus 1. This is with respect to ray 1. Next, coming to the second ray. Second ray, the distance traveled by second ray is how much? From the diagram it is clear, it is nothing but S2P. There is no modification in the path traveled by second ray. So, the resultant path difference between ray 1 and ray 2 is given by like this. Generally, path difference is indicated with delta. Therefore, I have taken delta notation here. Delta is equal to this much. If I rewrite this term, this will be like S2P minus S1P minus T into mu minus 1. Now go back to this Young's double slit experiment. If you observe Young's double slit experiment, the value of S2P minus S1P is equal to this much, 2x small d by capital D. Here the terms small d and capital D both are familiar with you. 2d is distance of separation between two sources, secondary sources, and capital D is distance of separation between sources and screen. Okay, I will tell you what is the value of this x. Now, therefore, the path difference is modified into, in the place of S2P minus S1P, we have substituted 2x into small d by capital D minus the remaining term is minus t into mu minus 1. And now, go back to this maxima condition. If you observe the interference pattern in Young's double slit experiment, for maximas and minimas, we have different conditions. Okay, now for maxima, the path difference should be the path difference between the rays which are providing the interference pattern is equal to n into lambda, integral multiples of wavelength of usual light beam. Therefore, now I want to equate this path difference with n lambda. Therefore, this is equal to this much. Now from that, I am going to find out the value of xn. Xn is equal to capital D by small 2d into n lambda plus t into mu minus 1. Let us say this is equation 1. Now this xn is nothing but the distance between central maxima to the nth order maxima. If n is equal to 1, then x1 will give us the distance between central maxima to the first order maximum. If n is equal to 2, the x2 will represents the distance between central maxima to the second order maxima, like that. Okay, now you see here xn is the position of nth maxima from central fringe. Okay, what I discussed here, just I have written that same point in this row. Now let us suppose if there is no mica sheet in the first path, then we can substitute t equal to 0 in the first equation. If t equal to 0, that equation xn equation is modified into like this. Okay, therefore this is the distance between central maxima and nth order maxima if we are keeping t thickness consisting of mica sheet in path 1. Okay, path of ray 1. This is normal distance between central maxima and nth maxima if there is no mica sheet in ray 1 path as well as ray 2 path. Therefore, now due to introducing of mica sheet, due to introducing of mica sheet, here shifting of fringes are going to take place. Now we will find how much shift is going to take place between the fringes before introducing the mica sheet and after introducing the mica sheet. We will see that. To find that value, we need to take the help of these two equations. You just subtract this equation 2 from equation 1. Then we have such formula. Here S is the shift in the fringe pattern due to introducing of mica sheet which is having thickness T. This is equal to this much. From this shift only we need to find out the thickness of mica sheet. We will see how to find out the thickness of mica sheet in our continuation part. From shift formula, the thickness of mica sheet will be given by S into 2D by capital D into mu minus 1. Here mu is refractive index of mica sheet. Actually different materials will possess with different refractive indices values. Directly from the books and net we can get the value of mu, refractive index of mica sheet. Next by using optical bench of biprism experiment we can get the value of D. Next to 2D, already we have seen how to get the value of 2D in case of biprism experiment. Next coming to the shift, how can we get the value of shift? To find this shift value, S value, now we need to remove monochromatic light and which will be replaced by white light. After keeping the white light by using eyepiece, micrometer eyepiece, we need to focus on white light, that corresponding crosswire reading we should find. Later we have to introduce the mica sheet in any one of the path of the light beams. Then according to our phenomena, shifting of fringes will be going to take place. Again we have to adjust the cross wires of eyepiece, and we need to find out again second time also we need to find out the value of reading of the white fringe. Okay, white slit, the value before introducing the mica sheet and after introducing the mica sheet we have to note down. If you subtract those two values, it will give us the value of total shift. Okay, in this way we can find out the value of S by knowing S 2D D from the experiment, and by writing direct value of refractive index of mica sheet we can find out finally the small thickness, very thin thickness consisting of mica sheet thickness. Okay, now you look at this last diagrams. If you observe these last diagrams, between source and screen, if there is no mica sheet, no mica sheet or glass sheet, This is the way of showing interference pattern. This is central maximum. These two are first order maximas. These two are second order maximas. Here central maxima is falling like this. Now if I introduce mica sheet in the first ray path, how about the shifting of fringes? Shifting of fringes are going to take place towards the position of this mica sheet. Therefore central maxima has been shifted like this. Okay, if the mica sheet is introduced in the path of second ray, then the central maxima has been shifted towards the mica sheet position like this. Therefore in these three diagrams we can see how shifting of maximas or interference fringes are going to take place due to placing of mica sheet in the paths of interfering beams, light beams. Thank you.